got these three eyes and I breathe in, breathe out, step out on the New York night. In the street, pulsating beneath my feet, I'm broadly glitters like concrete. Said, this is a city that dreams are made of. Know what a city. Hold on tight, down on Washington Square. Grab your dreams and we get there. No other place can compare. So jump in. New York, a city that never sleeps. Hold on tight.
When I can't think things through, I turn my blood to red from blue.
Part of the reason the Wellness Exchange was created, I don't think it's any secret, is that there were suicides that were happening very publicly in 2003, 2004. And so there were 7 kids in 12 months who did this. You know, you weren't students here, but people were, and it started to become what we say is a contagion. So people who were feeling suicidal were watching these other people jump from buildings and were saying to themselves, this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to join this group of people and expressing their pain in this way. A lot of what we did is to create the services that we have in place, including the hotline, with the idea that we want to give people as much support as possible, but then also the show came about. We wanted to destigmatize, and also we wanted to get the word out there about the services in a way that people could hear.
Pick up the phone and call us. If you need to talk, we got the time. Drop us a line, pick up and call us. 212-443-9999.
Truth be told, I've called the hotline in my college career. I've called it about questions I had about alcohol and questions I've had about depression, things like that. Whether it's me or my friends, I've called it with concerns to speak with someone. And I think if that's the one thing they take out of it, then that's why it's needed.
So it's sort of from us to you. This is our experience. This is our friends' experience.
All the perspectives from all demographics.
Took the elevator up to my floor. When the doors opened up on the bulletin board, I saw the N-word. How could this happen to me? I thought that NYU was not a place of bigotry.
I was out with my girl on a Saturday night when this dude came over, straight up called me a dyke.
I was embarrassed.
I couldn't show my face. I thought the city would be more of an accepting place.
Don't think that your words don't hurt me. They hurt me.
Was walking home by myself. Someone said to me, hey terrorist, hey chick, go back to your country.
I was shocked.
The reality show is...
It's totally different.
It's a health and wellness show, but it's disguised as a musical theater sketch comedy extravaganza.
Hey Sherry, it's me, your vagina.
Everything from academic pressure and getting good grades, all the way through the really kind of serious mental health stuff, depression, anxiety.
I remember the reality show. I'm sure when you saw it, you still remember things. It sticks with you.
We're able to do this in a way that makes an impression. Like it's like the melody that gets stuck in your head.
And like so many people I've been like, they'll be like, oh, what show are you doing? I'm like, it's like and I'll try and say it in a few sentences, and they're like, oh, I know exactly what you mean. I'm like, no, you don't, I'll tell you the whole story.
Staring, thinking I'm touching my waist, but it will never be enough. 2 more pounds and then 2 more pounds.
Pumping the weights and I'm drinking the shakes and I'm still not reaching my goal. 2 more pounds and then 2 more pounds.
Sticking my finger right down my throat as I binge, I give it all up. 2 more pounds and then 2 more pounds.
Load up the needle and pumping the juice cause my body's all I can control. 2 more pounds and then 2 more pounds.
I don't wanna be the person in the mirror. I'd give anything to look like someone else.
First off, it is the project itself, the fact that we get to make a theater piece that immediately reaches out to literally thousands of people and has instantaneous messages that will help them get through their freshman year and possibly the rest of college and possibly forever. It makes such a lasting impression. Working on the show in the summers, you make this little tribe, you make this little family, and I get to watch budding artists just completely blossom into these new creatures.
As you're writing, you can get caught up in like, this has to be funny or this has to be beautiful if it's a song, but then at the end of the day, when you strip all that away, you realize you are actually trying to communicate a very important message.
And dear Dad, you know I'm sorry I didn't turn out the way we said I'd turn out. And dear Mom, I guess I'm sorry that I lied all these years. I didn't lie, it was fear. But
I don't know if this is going to get used, and I don't care if it is, but this show made me come out. It not made me, but I came out of the closet because of this piece, because of our work together. And I'm going to be in that audience. You know, there's going to be kids from the Midwest who are going to be stuck in there, and that's what this is going to be for me at least. I'm really, really pulling that we can let them know, set the tone, that this is going to be okay and everything's going to be fine.
and I'm me. I'm finally me. I'm out and I'm free and I'm lit.
Being an artist, everybody has a superhero power, and so like pilots know how to fly and plumbers know how to plumb, but an artist's superhero power is to be vulnerable and to dive into some really dark, vulnerable human places and then be able to report back to everyone else what you found there. And this is the epitome of that analogy of these like superhero kids flying into these dark places and then coming back and being like, you guys, I am you, I have experienced this, and you're gonna be fine, and here's how you're gonna be fine.
I think we're trying to inspire change in about 5,000 people in an hour.
What do we want? To go to parties! And when do we want it? Now! What do we want? To meet cute girls! And when do we want it? Now! What do we want? To get laid! And when do we want it?
As soon as we've gotten a girl really drunk and she's slurring her words and all of her friends have already left the party.
What?
And she's passed out on the floor and she can't say no.
But she didn't say yes.
It's cool.
It's not.
It's sexy.
It's disgusting.
It's getting laid.
It's rape.
I went to a New Year's party she had that there were a bunch of freshmen from the film department there. I was smoking weed with this dude on the balcony, and he goes, "Were you in that Don't Do Drugs show?" No. It wasn't a Don't Do Drugs show. And it was like, any of that actually real for you guys? And I was like, yeah, actually, every single part of it was very real.
In my experience is that here there's a lot of anxiety related to academics and succeeding, and I mean you go to a really good school, so you all are anxious just as baseline because that has resulted in you doing so well in your lives so far.
You know, and if you did get good grades, you were always praised and really talented, and it's like if suddenly you can't handle something,
yeah, then you
it's
worry
a lot
about
harder to accept that you can't handle it.
I never like to make you guys the poster children of health, and this is the reason. Because people will say, like, you know, we'll put the reality show kids on the poster and we'll say, you know, don't do drugs or whatever. But I mean, and it's hard for me to agree to that because I know that you're kids with the same kinds of issues as every other kid, you know, and so I don't want to put you in that position.
That's what's interesting. I mean, a lot of the times I'm like writing something or doing something, I'm like, this is real and I'm going to be saying this in front of people, and like, this isn't a dress up. This is me sharing my experience.
Yeah, it's great, Angela. Great. As a song in the world on its own, no notes. It's fantastic. It's got a great build. It's got a great arc. I love a lot of the musical tools you're using with the repetition and the rhythms and all of that. I think inside of the reality show, for me, it sort of gives up at the end. I feel like this character stops trying to figure it out, Because like you're, basically at the end you're just saying, well, it's just hard, which it is, for sure. But I think that it loses its fight. The Share Circle is very vulnerable because a lot of these students are just discovering writing, and writing for the reality show is so specific versus just writing in general. So it's hard because I always want to be able to say, you know, you're killing it, you're doing amazing work, but also like, this is what we need for the context of the show. Great. Yeah, that's some powerful shit. I just am still very attached to last year's. I think there's a lot of power in that is not necessarily present in this, but there are elements of this that I really, really love. So I want to see where we can marry them.
That's why we don't do the same show every year. I mean, I'm trying to get my new anxiety song through, and I'm feeling anxiety about it, and I'm trying to explain it because we feel passionate, because it's something that, you know, we're writing, but also we're feeling with, you know, we have these situations, these things, and I'm in my head, I'm like, well, why don't I just say, then let's just, not meanly, like, let's just do last year's then. But I'm thinking, like, just because it worked last year doesn't mean it's not gonna, that it doesn't mean it's gonna work this year.
I like it too much. I love that. I could listen to that forever. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I hate when I have to give this note because it's such a good song. It's such a good song, but I want to try it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to sit inside of this. It just sounds like such a viable solution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish I didn't have to say that, because I really,
both lyrically too.
it's everything. Yeah, because it's saying when I can't trust anyone, then whatever I'm going through, I know that I can trust that.
But like cutting is like a specific, the only thing that's not specific about it is like what blade you use and where you do it.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Do you want me to do the other one?
Yeah, let me just see it.
Winter is my favorite season. What's the reason? I like the sleeves, I like the sweaters. They make me feel better. I know it's summer, but anything to cover up. I really didn't start this way. I just was having a bad day. The shit they sense under my skin, my skin, my skin.
I would really love to show Zoe both versions.
Okay. There's something interesting about the show that I just thought of, is that as an audience member, you're watching these people. You just entered my problem and exited in a 1.5 minute song. You're fine now. I'm sitting here like,
With
yeah,
that
that's
problem.
my reality, and I just realized like that's hard.
Hi, welcome to the afterlife. Can I get your name, please?
Andrew Martin.
And cause of death?
I just committed suicide.
You can go in.
All right. Is there a place in there I can watch my funeral?
What?
My funeral. I wanted to see how many people came.
That's not how this works, but you can go in, please.
Wait, what about my parents? Are they sad?
I'm sure they are. Inside, please.
So the suicide piece then becomes so symbolic and in a lot of ways the core of the show, even though everything else obviously makes the show, but it gave us the most stress, I guess I want to say, because it's hard to do a piece on suicide. It's just hard to get that right. The challenge for us is to not glorify, not to romanticize, not to give people the idea that if you're feeling like this, then this is what you should do.
How do you have this conversation with someone, because they really don't care about what happens after? It's the now. I can't cope with life.
Some people it's not about glorification or anything, and I think that what was successful was like the make it through the night, fight.
Just
And,
one
like,
more day.
One more night, fight.
You're only given a little spark of madness. Don't ever lose that, because it keeps you alive.
We have been requested, because of Robin Williams, to do a hard-hitting section. If we are inspired otherwise, go ahead and write. Know that it must be tiny, tiny, tiny. Don't get preachy, don't get sentimental. I like to share anything new that might have been written.
When you look around you and fail to see a reason to keep living.
I ache in the marrow at the bones.
I worry my voice sounds like when I talk, or if I'm accidentally saying my thoughts out loud. Wait, talking loud don't mind.
I cannot go on, I cannot get out of bed, I cannot eat, I cannot sleep, I cannot make it another day. Well, yes, you can make it another day.
Is this how you need?
There is hate on my shoulders, the hate of the world placed on my shoulders. This hate that pours from my pores, a salty, sticky substance. Try to make us respect you, try to feel equal, try to love freely, try to dream brightly, try to fight our look of judgment, our pointing fingers, our whispers of disdain, our political majority, our religious majority. Try to live like.
And if we pull ourselves into a hole, then that's when we're dangerous. It's really brave work, and it's brave to share the darkness, and it's the vulnerability we talk about. It's the superhero power that we have. It's such an amazing idea that we are never not broken.
Touch your chest, feel your beating heart.
When I can't think things through, I turn my blood to red from blue. The pressure that's inside of me, is there another way to set it free? This has gotten too large, I'm no longer in charge when I go to cut myself. This has gotten
Stop, take a step back.
I'm no longer
Feel
in
your beating
charge
heart.
when I go to
You
cut
stop.
myself.
You are so much more than skin and blood and bone.
But then that one tiny voice that make it through the night, and little by little I'm choosing the light. I've got my armor on, I want to win this fight. And now I choose to notice how the sky can be so blue, and the brilliance of confetti, and a morning fresh and new, and the taste of spaghetti. I notice, little by little I notice.
Better to live, far worse to waste it.
And though times can still be tough, I know it's better to face it.